Thank you very much to our speakers committee, Charlie Vogelheim, Brendan Flynn, and Joni Gray, for putting together some fantastic luncheons this year. Tonight, as the avalanche of the holidays rushes down towards us, we have gathered once again to celebrate excellence in automotive journalism. So welcome to the 19th annual Dean Batchelor Award banquet, where we gather to honor the best automotive journalism and its creators. Now, in order to qualify for consideration, a nominated work must have appeared for the first time between the year starting September 1st, 2012, ending August 31st, 2013. Nominations were accepted in 4 categories: articles, audiovisual, books, and photography. There were 4 judging panels of 3 judges each. They convened to evaluate the nominees. Each panel named 3 finalists in their category and selected a winner from those finalists. The 4 winners will be announced this evening, each receiving a Motor Press Guild Best of the Year award. Now, a further panel of 3 judges got together to evaluate these 4 winners. And they selected the winner of this year's Dean Batchelor Award for Excellence in Automotive Journalism, and that will be announced at the conclusion of tonight's ceremonies. First, we have a very special guest this evening, somebody I'm very excited to see. I just recently discovered that he is an actual car guy, and I think you're going to enjoy what he has to say. That's coming up soon. But first, let's get to the awards and bring up our first presenter. Ladies and gentlemen, the head judge for the books category and a founding member of MPG, Eric Dahlquist, Sr.
Well, thank you, Aaron. And Charlie Vogelheim did not write my speech. Good or bad. The first thing I'd like to do is thank the other judges that participated in the book reviews. Larry Crane, would you please stand up and take a bow wherever you are at? Larry, there he is back there. And David Woodhouse. Is David here? There he is. There he is. David Woody Woodhouse. These guys were tenacious readers, and we had 12 excellent nominated contenders, which we narrowed down to 3 finalists. The first of the finalists was McLaren from the Inside by Tyler Alexander. The second finalist was Corvette Sting Ray, Genesis of an American Icon by Peter Brock. The third finalist was The Cars of Miletich and Parnelli Jones. And Parnelli's here tonight. Let's give him a round of applause. The winner for 2013, Corvette Sting Ray, Genesis of American Icon by Peter Brock. Come on up, Peter. Congratulations, buddy. Woo! There you go.
Eric, thank you so much. In doing this book, I thought it was really important because the Stingray is such an American car that we did the entire book in the United States, which I'm very proud of. All written and printed. And it was really due to the efforts of my wife, Gail. She did the entire layout, all the editing, all the page selection, type, and everything. So the 2 of us. Thank you.
Peter, congratulations. Our next presenter, I got to put the microphone back in short guy mode. Our next presenter is the head judge of the audiovisual category, that distinguished British gentleman, Peter Starr. Peter, come on up.
This was an incredibly difficult judging job, and I brought in Steve Hoyer and Tyler Purcell to help me with this. Steve is an MPG member, and Tyler isn't, but he's an incredibly talented film editor and a motorcycle and car fanatic. And the reason I say we had a difficult time is because we had a lot of entries, and obviously a lot of people have put in a lot of effort to bringing it to this stage. Where they raced Speed Demons in the City of Angels by Harold Osmer and Harry Pallenberg. One of the other finalists was the 2013 Tesla Model S review. And this was brought to us by, if I hope I pronounce this right, forgive me if I don't, Mika Muzio. Micah, boy. Never trust an Englishman to pronounce something like that. Eh? And Michael Delano. Our next finalist, this 2013 Tesla Model S review, LA to Vegas the Hard Way by Micah Museo. See, I learn. I can be trained, you know. I can be trained. And Michael Delano. Considering that hybrids and electric cars are becoming more and more normal, this second place winner is a very timely piece and answers a lot of people's questions regarding owning an all-electric vehicle. It was a realistic view of a Tesla, well produced and presented in an entertaining way that communicates well to the general car buying public. And the final one is for the Best of the Year award. And the finalist is Jeff Swart's Pikes Peak International Hill Climb 2013 by Will, and I'm going to blow this one also, Rogie? No? Yes? No? Well, we'll go with Rogie. How's that? Finally, Will Rogie's Jeff Swart Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. This production shows Pikes Peak race from a perspective most people just flat couldn't imagine. This was a contender from conception through finishing, perfectly achieved, using some immensely creative talent, excellent photography, with terrific use of the many point-of-view cameras that are available today. It was quite difficult, but in the end, there was really no doubt in our minds of who was the winner. And I'd like to announce that the winner is, ta-da, Where They Raced. Speed Demons, The City of Angels by Harold Osmer and Harry Pallenberg.
Go ahead, Harry. I just want to say thank you very much for honoring this endeavor of a lot of nights and weekends and many, many years. And of course, it obviously all started with the book that Harold wrote many, many years ago. And you deserve a lot of credit for that, so please.
Thank you.
These are your people.
With Where They Raced, as you all know, pretty much what we do is just share the passion that we all share, and I'm happy to bring it to you. And if it hadn't been for Harry, I'd have never been able to get any of these images off the page and onto the screen. I mean, it clearly takes more than one person to do a job like this, although this is the entire team.
Took two of us. Yeah.
I don't see things in the way that Harry does, that a video guy does, and so I'm just really grateful that Harry showed up when he did and just made it all happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, our next category is photography, and our head judge is the MPG's unofficial official photographer. You've been seeing his work on the screen all evening, including apparently every unflattering shot of me that has ever been taken. All the events, all the photos that you've seen running during dinner were his work. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Myles Regan.
Good evening. They prepared a script for me, and thank you, Aaron. I'm usually behind the camera at these events, so please excuse me. I'm a little bit nervous, but really I'm not. I hope that you had a chance to look at the 3 photos that we selected as finalists during the cocktail hour. I have to admit that it was a daunting task, but my fellow judges, Mark Elias, Ed Justice Jr., and myself took the job seriously, and here's what we came up with. Our first finalist is Out of Time by Bob Chapman. This photograph appeared in Porsche Panorama magazine. As photographers, we know how tough it can be to get an image of a race car that we haven't seen, and Bob's image of a Porsche GT through the trees is a fresh example of a competitor at speed. This image really tells a story and reinforces the narrative. Our next finalist is Dicing with Giants. Aston Martin GT by Robert Kieran, first published in Road and Track. More than just a car beauty shop, this image is great photojournalism. It puts the viewer into action with an Aston Martin race car at Laguna Seca Mazda Raceway. Our final finalist is Randy Wells with Frozen in Time, another photograph that was published in Porsche Panorama magazine, interesting enough. This photo is a beautiful example of the magic that happens when every element of the photograph art comes together. A Porsche Speedster stands beside a farmhouse, positioned perfectly with the winter scene behind it. It's an image that makes you think about what's going on and invites the viewer to create a narrative of their own. With 3 outstanding photographs finalists, we arrived at a winner. This year's 2013 MPG Best Photograph of the Year goes to Out of Time by Bob Chapman. I don't think Bob's here. I think he's in Florida, but I'll accept the award on his behalf. Thank you so much.
Congratulations to Bob Chapman, wherever you are. The next category, the head judge was me. It's the articles category. And my fellow judges were Zach Bowman and Mark Vaughn. So I think you've heard plenty from me tonight, so I'd like to invite Mark Vaughn to come up and present the award.
Please, please. With all due respect to the other categories, the writing category is really the heart, soul, and gizzard of the Motor Press Guild. It's the parts rack on which all the other parts are strung. I wrote that line. 2 runners-up and a winner. They each represented a category. One was for reporting, one was for a vehicle review, and one was for being just better than the other 2. Our first finalist was Robert Cumberford for his article in Automobile Magazine, GM's Road Not Taken. The next finalist was How Honda Hustled to Redo the Civic by Mark Recton of Automotive News. The third finalist was Pete Stout with his article Theater of the Absurd from Porsche Panorama Magazine. And now, the winner of the Motor Press Guild Best of the Year Award in the article category is Robert Cumberford for GM's Road Not Taken.
I talked with Robert over the weekend. He said for me to come up and do this. So here I am. With Mary Barra's appointment as of this afternoon, and I think we can all, it makes Robert's article just that much more timely, and I suggest that if you have a chance to look at Robert's article, think that what happened 55, 60 years ago isn't really that different from the issues and challenges that General Motors faces today. So it's a very timely article in spite of it reporting on something that happened in an era when only Peter Brock and I remember. And congratulations to you too, Peter.
Okay, we have a very special guest tonight. Time magazine wrote that he is the most popular comedian in the United States, and Forbes named him to its Celebrity 100 list of the most powerful entertainers 3 years running. He plays to arena-sized venues all over the world, but tonight he's playing to the Petersen Automotive Museum and the Motor Press Guild because he's not only a comedian, he's also a car guy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to introduce Mr. Jeff Dunham.
I got into the car game very late. Nothing about any cars except the Batmobile. And it was a George Barris Batmobile. I came home every day. That show was on, reruns, and I would watch that car, and that was the only thing I knew about cars. I said, I'm a ventriloquist. He goes, oh, really? I said, yeah, I have one of my characters is Ahmed the Dead Terrorist. He stepped back, and his eyes kind of welled up, and I go, you okay? And he goes, I had cancer 2 years ago. I almost died. He goes, you and Ahmed and your comedy are one of the things that pulled me through it. I still get goosebumps when I tell that story. The Motor Press Guild Dean Batchelor Awards dinner. Is that it? That's it. Thank you very much, and good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jeff Dunham, car guy, who knew? At the Motor Press Guild, that's right. You won't get this at the Wadge track event, that's all I'm saying. Anyway, thank you very much. Now, one thing that's come up very frequently in my tenure at MPG, I have to be honest, when I joined MPG, I did not know who Dean Batchelor was, let alone why we named our most important ceremony after him. And of course, I've since learned, and anybody would be impressed with Dean's career. So before we present the award, I'd like to bring Dave Koontz up to talk a little bit more about Dean Batchelor and why we honor him with this award.
Thank you. I've been a member of Motor Press Guild since 2000, never met Dean Batchelor, but I've been to a lot of these Dean Batchelor Awards. I've sat at the Pontiac table, the Mercury table, the Oldsmobile table, the Suzuki table, the Saturn table, the Fisker table, and the Coda table. Sorry, Porsche. It's nice knowing you. But the Dean Batchelor name is part of this organization. It is our annual, I call it the Car Geek Prom. It is our annual get-together, our holiday party, and it's a time to honor those who strive to excellence in automotive journalism. Dean, whose picture is over there, Tom Brokaw called his generation the greatest generation. He was born in Kansas but grew up in Southern California, and he enlisted in the Army Air Corps in World War II. Worked on a B-17, as a radio operator and a gunner. His plane crash landed in Germany. He became a prisoner of war along many. But when he got out, finally after World War II, his hot rod and his car love resurfaced. He bought a 32 Ford Roadster, loaded it with a souped-up Mercury engine, and that became his daily driver as he attended industrial design classes and worked at Lockheed assembling airplanes. On the weekends, the Deuce was his dry lakes racer, and with Alex Exidius at the SoCal Speed Shop, he raced dry lakes and achieved a speed of 185 miles an hour. Now, some of us occasionally get to drive some really fast cars. You might be in a real supercar and go 185 miles an hour. Try doing that in a 32 Ford Roadster. Bruce Meyer, I know you're saying, what's 185 miles an hour? I've gone faster than that, but think about the time, think about the era. In 1952, Dean became the editor of Hop Up, despite the fact that he had no formal training as a writer or editor. Eventually, he became editor at Road and Track, where his legacy was cemented. A series of authoritative and influential books followed, including Illustrated Ferrari's Buyer Guide, Illustrated Guide, the Porsche Buyer's Guide, and Harrah's Automobile Collection, one man's tribute to the great automobiles of the world, and, fittingly, The American Hot Rod. When Dean Batchelor died from a sudden heart attack in 1994, he was working to complete Dry Lakes and drag strips. Those who knew Dean, and unfortunately I never got to meet the man, speak of his dedication to automotive history and culture and to his passion for communicating about cars. They also speak of his humanity. He was just as comfortable talking to a young automotive journalist as he was to a giant in the automotive industry. His colleagues and friends admired him as a writer, photographer, editor, and designer, but mostly they admired him as a man. The Motor Press Guild created the Dean Batchelor Award to honor Dean's memory and to inspire future automotive journalists to aspire to his level of integrity and achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause posthumously for Mr. Dean Batchelor?
Dave, thank you very much. And now I'd like to bring up Jason Fogelson. Jason is a member of the board of directors. He's the chairman of the awards committee, and he's also the head judge for the Dean Batchelor Award. Jason.
Thanks. First, I'd like to thank all of the judges who volunteered their time to make these awards happen. Without your intelligence, effort, and integrity, these awards would mean nothing. And a special thank you to my fellow Dean Batchelor Award judges, Preston Lerner, who's right here, and Tara Weingarten, who is unfortunately not with us tonight. I really enjoyed our discussions about the four works before us, and I was very impressed with how much passion you both have about excellence in our field. It's an honor to know you. Deciding between four works in different disciplines is a challenge. How can you compare a book to a photograph or an article to an audiovisual work? We decided to go back to the source and try to channel our inner Dean Batchelor. We took the word excellence very seriously, and we applied it rigorously to each of the four MPG Best of the Year category winners. In the end, the decision was much easier than the process. We compared notes. Each of us had ranked the same work as our choice for the award. Though we admired all four MPG Best of the Year winners, one work clearly stood out for us. The finalists for the Dean Batchelor Award were, to remind you, Corvette Sting Ray, Genesis of an American Icon by Peter Brock, Bob Chapman for his photograph Time's Up, Robert Cumberford for his article GM's Road Not Taken, and Harold Osmer and Harry Pallenberg for their audiovisual work, Where They Raced, Speed Demons in the City of Angels. The 2013 Dean Batchelor Award for Excellence in Automotive Journalism goes to Peter Brock for his book, Corvette Sting Ray, Genesis of an American Icon. Peter had to catch a flight. He was here earlier this evening, but he is gone now, but we're really, really pleased that he was here to get his Best of the Year award, and I hope when he lands, he'll learn about his Dean Batchelor Award. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Jason. Okay, we are in the home stretch. That pretty much wraps it up for the 2013 Dean Batchelor Award ceremonies. First, I want to congratulate all of our nominees, all of our finalists, and all of our winners. And I have a list of thank yous because no event like this happens without a great deal of help. First of all, I want to thank our sponsors, Hyundai, our platinum sponsor, Mercedes-Benz, our gold sponsor, and Mothers, our silver sponsor. Thanks to Ford. Got a bunch of them. Thanks to Ford for being our trophy sponsor. We also want to thank Volkswagen and Audi for sponsoring parking, Mitsubishi and Jaguar Land Rover, for joining us this year as contributing sponsors, and all the OEMs who sponsored tables this evening, Cadillac, Mazda, Nissan, and Porsche. We very much appreciate your support of the banquet and our organization. Yes, I think this is a good time for a round of applause. Also, thanks to Gene Garfinkel, who designed the trophy for the Dean Batchelor Award, and to John Pyle, who crafted it. A very big thanks to Steve Reich for acting as our conduit to Jeff Dunham, and to Jeff for his performance tonight. And finally, thanks to everybody who worked so hard to make this event happen. Joni Finkel, the event chair, put a great deal of time and effort into this, and we appreciate it. Tony Hansowitz handled the catering, Larry Rusnak, and all of our volunteers. And a big thanks to Jason Fogelson, our DBA chair, who recruited the head judges, supervised the judging process, and wrote this evening's ceremony, including the list of thank yous that I've just read. And your presence mean I've missed somebody. Honda. Oh, of course, and Honda, who sponsored the bar. All right, please enjoy the rest of your evening. We have this place until 10 o'clock, and as James Dean once said, drive carefully, the life you save may be mine. Good night, everybody. I'm Aaron Gold, the soon-to-be former president of the Motor Press Guild, and I'm at the 2013 Dean Batchelor Award Banquet, our 19th annual Dean Batchelor Award Banquet. This is our big year-end wrap-up. We had a great event tonight. Jeff Dunham was our guest speaker. I had no idea that Jeff Dunham was a car guy, but he has this amazing collection that ranges from like a Cuda convertible to a Pinto with the bubble van window in the back. It's very cool stuff. We've had a fantastic evening, delicious food. We honored some excellent work. I was also the head article judge, and we had some excellent entrants. It was very difficult to pick a winner this year. I want to acknowledge and thank Jason Fogelson, Joni Gray, and Tony Hansowitz, who put together this evening's program and banquet. They did a fantastic job. 2013 has been a great year for the Motor Press Guild. I think 2014 is going to be even better.